What if everything you've been told about happiness is wrong? Most of us spend our lives chasing happiness like it's some kind of prize at the end of a race. We think, if I get that job, if I buy that house, if I find the perfect relationship, then I'll finally be happy. But why does it always feel just out of reach? What if true happiness isn't something you find, but something you create? Today, we're diving deep into the philosophy of happiness, what it is, why we struggle to find it, and how we can live a truly meaningful life. We'll explore ancient wisdom, modern psychology, and real-life lessons to uncover the truth about what makes us genuinely happy. So stick with me. By the end of this video, you might just see happiness in a completely new way. Let's start with a question. Have you ever finally gotten something you really wanted, only to realize the happiness didn't last? This is what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. The idea that no matter what happens to us, good or bad, we eventually return to our baseline level of happiness. For example, studies show that lottery winners, after the initial high, often go back to their previous level of happiness. Meanwhile, people who suffer major setbacks, like losing a job, also tend to return to their baseline after a period of adjustment. So if external achievements don't bring lasting happiness, what does? Ancient philosophers had some interesting answers long before modern psychology. Great thinkers like Aristotle, the Stoics, and the Buddha were asking the same questions we are today. Aristotle, for example, believed happiness wasn't just about pleasure, it was about living a virtuous life. He called this eudaimonia, which roughly translates to human flourishing. For Aristotle, happiness wasn't about fleeting pleasure, but about becoming the best version of yourself, growing in wisdom, courage, and kindness. Then, the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, took a different approach. They believed happiness wasn't about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. They taught that we should focus only on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Everything else, out of our hands. Think about it. If you base happiness on things outside your control, like other people's opinions or circumstances, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And lastly, the Buddha taught that suffering comes from attachment, clinging to things, people, and expectations. True peace comes from letting go, being present, and embracing life as it is. So, we've got 3 big ideas so far. Happiness isn't about pleasure, but about living well. We suffer when we focus on what we can't control. Letting go of attachments brings peace. Next, we'll explore the science of happiness, which is one of the most deeply studied yet mysterious aspects of human life. We all want it, we all chase it, yet it often feels just out of reach. But here's the good news. Happiness isn't just a vague idea, it's a science. Psychologists and neuroscientists have spent decades studying what actually makes people happy. And the truth is, happiness isn't about luck or external success. It's about how our brains are wired, how we think, and how we live. Let's break down the science of happiness into 3 key areas. 1. How our brain creates happiness, the neuroscience of joy. Have you ever wondered what happens in your brain when you feel truly happy? Neuroscience shows that happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a chemical process. When we experience joy, love, or deep satisfaction, our brain releases neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that make us feel good. The 4 major ones are: 1. Dopamine, known as the reward chemical. Dopamine is released when we achieve a goal, receive a reward, or experience excitement. It's what gives us that rush of pleasure when we complete a task, hear good news, or get a compliment. Good side, it keeps us motivated. Bad side, if we rely too much on dopamine from things like social media, shopping, or instant gratification, we can feel empty when it wears off. 2. Serotonin, also called the happiness stabilizer. Serotonin is the brain's mood regulator. It helps us feel calm, stable, and content. You can boost serotonin naturally by spending time in sunlight, exercising regularly, practicing gratitude, and connecting with loved ones. 3. Oxytocin, known as the love hormone. Oxytocin is released when we bond with others, whether through a hug, deep conversation, or an act of kindness. It helps us feel safe, loved, and emotionally connected. Studies show that people with strong social bonds have higher oxytocin levels and report greater life satisfaction. 4. Endorphins, the painkillers of happiness. Endorphins are our body's natural painkillers. They reduce stress and increase feelings of euphoria. Exercise, laughter, and music can all trigger endorphin release. Ever heard of a runner's high? That's endorphins at work. Happiness isn't just a mindset, it's a chemical process in the brain. But the best part? We can actively shape it through our daily habits. 2. The happiness set point, why we always return to a baseline. Have you ever noticed that when something amazing happens, a job promotion, a new relationship, a big win, you feel incredibly happy? But after a while, the feeling fades? Or on the flip side, when something bad happens, a breakup, job loss, or failure, it feels devastating, but eventually you bounce back. This happens because of something called the happiness set point. What is the happiness set point? Psychologists have found that everyone has a baseline level of happiness, a kind of default mood that they naturally return to over time. 50% of happiness is genetic. Some people are naturally more positive, while others may be more prone to anxiety or sadness. 10% is external circumstances. Money, success, and life events only play a small role in long-term happiness. 40% is shaped by daily habits and mindset. This means we can actively change our happiness through the way we think and live. No matter what happens in life, we tend to return to our normal level of happiness. But by practicing the right habits, we can actually raise our happiness baseline. So what actually works when it comes to increasing happiness? Let's look at the real drivers of joy. 3. The real drivers of happiness. What actually makes us happy? For decades, people assumed that more money, fame, and success were the keys to happiness. But research shows that once basic needs are met, these things don't make a lasting difference. So what does? 1. Relationships, the #1 predictor of happiness. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, an 85-year-long study on happiness, found that the single biggest predictor of long-term happiness isn't wealth or status. It's strong, meaningful relationships. People who feel connected, loved, and supported live happier, healthier, and longer lives. 2. Purpose, the secret to deep fulfillment. Happiness isn't just about feeling good. It's about feeling meaningful. People who have a sense of purpose, whether through their work, family, or a passion, report higher levels of well-being and satisfaction. Even simple acts of helping others can boost happiness levels dramatically. Happiness isn't about what you get, it's about what you give and contribute. 3. Gratitude, the shortcut to joy. Gratitude isn't just a nice idea, it's a scientifically proven way to boost happiness. Studies show that people who regularly practice gratitude feel more positive emotions, have stronger relationships, and even sleep better. Simply writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day can rewire your brain for happiness. 4. Living in the present, the mindfulness effect. We spend so much time worrying about the future or dwelling on the past that we forget to actually live in the moment. Studies show that people who practice mindfulness and presence experience less stress and more happiness. Even something as simple as savoring a meal, a conversation, or a walk can dramatically improve well-being. 5. Movement and nature, simple, powerful mood boosters. Want to feel happier instantly? Exercise is one of the most effective natural antidepressants. Even a 10-minute walk can boost mood. Spending time in nature reduces stress, improves focus, and increases happiness. Happiness is a science, not just a feeling. The science of happiness teaches us that happiness isn't just about external success, it's about relationships, purpose, and daily habits. Our brains are wired for happiness, but we have to activate it through gratitude, connection, and mindfulness. We all have a happiness set point, but we can raise it by changing how we live. So instead of chasing happiness somewhere in the future, Focus on building it right now through small daily choices that bring joy, meaning, and connection. At this point, you might be wondering, okay, I get it. Chasing external success doesn't bring real happiness. But if happiness doesn't come from wealth, status, or constant pleasure, then how do we actually create a meaningful, fulfilling life? That's where the happiness formula comes in. While there's no one-size-fits-all answer, philosophy and psychology have given us timeless principles that can help anyone cultivate a deeper, more lasting sense of happiness. Let's break it down.
You say that I'm psychotic,